We just discussed about the basic of what is a dimension. Dimension is a table or an entity which contains reference data. What is reference data? Reference data is important, but it is not used for calculations or measures for a fact. Okay? For example, if you have employee ID 1234 with the number, you have employee name, you have location, and you have job, and who's the manager, when did this employee join. All these details will go into your reference data if you have to divide the employee into dimensions and facts. Now the same employee content will be chunked into fact, which contains only the measurable attributes. When I say measurable attributes, these are the ones which can be calculated. These are usually the numbers. What are the numbers in your employee ID, employee table? Apart from employee ID, which is a unique key, it is your salary and commission, right? Department number is also a number, but that falls under your reference data because it's the reference of which department the employee is part of. Okay, so that's the usual difference between dimension and a fact. Now we cannot rule out dimension data saying it is reference data and we don't need it. Whatever is the importance you have for fact, the numbers, all those come, or the reference to that come from the dimension table only. So that is also as equal as fact table. Okay, now what is a slowly changing dimension? In short, it is called as SCD. The slowly changing dimension is a dimension which changes over a period of time. What does it mean when we say over a period of time? Now let's go back to the Excel here. We'll take the same example of employee ID, employee name, and let's say location. Okay, 1234. And name is, let's say, Sam, and his current location is Texas. Okay, now this employee is hired within my company in Texas on a particular date. Let's call this as hire date 2012080101. Okay, now he joined Texas. His project is finished there after a period of time, and he's moving. Whenever his location changes, if I directly update the location within the same column, okay, within the same column, let's say now he's moved to NC, so I'll just update it to NC. That is called SCD type 1. Let's go back a step behind. Now there are 6 different types of SCDs. Okay, 6 types of SCDs. What are these 6 types? Of course, it is again numbered as type 1, type 2, and type 3. But how many do we usually use in any of the real-time data warehouse scenarios? Now, we cannot rule out anything within that, but we can say the first 3, the type 1, type 2, and type 3 are the ones which are usually used. 4, 5, and 6 are also required or used based on your requirement. When I say requirement, how you want to treat the data, how you want to store it within your system. Okay, that is type 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6 are the rest of the ones. Okay, now there are some, if you just search on Google, if you look out for various other types, there will be some combinations. Okay, when we say combinations, it's a combination of let's say type 1, 2, and 3 together within a single dimension, and or a combination of type 2 and type 6 together, and things like that. Okay, you might also get questions within your interviews asking, what is a hybrid slowly changing dimension? Okay, it's usually a type 6 one. It's a combination of 1, 2, and 3 together, which are maintained in a single dimension. Now you can always ask, how is that maintained in a single dimension? It's the design of the dimension which will serve the purpose of all 3 of the types. Okay, so let's stick to type 1, 2, and 3 for now, because these usually suffice for most of the data warehouse requirements, until unless you have some critical or high level data modeling which is done, with which you can combine all of this together in a single dimension, where when you're pulling the data from this dimension at the reporting layer, you pull that as part of a multi-dimensional reference data pool. Okay.